Hi, this is Brandon from Watches on You. Today we're taking a look at the Lange and Sohne Langematik Perpetual Calendar. And first I'd like to remind you that we're here at JB Hudson Jewelers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where this watch is available on sale pre-owned. And I'd also like to remind you that we'll be leaving links in the description to JB Hudson's website, to this watch on Lange and Sohne's website, as well as to our channel store where we list our favorite watches and watch accessories. We highly encourage you to make purchases on here as it does support the channel. So without further ado, let's get on to this watch. So as I said, this is the Lange and Sohne Perpetual Calendar in platinum. Now there is also a rose gold version that is very popular, as well as a white gold version, but this is the platinum version. And I really love this watch. I mean, there's basically nothing on this watch that I would change. But without further ado, let's just get into the case details here. So, as I said, the case is platinum. It's 38.5 millimeters in diameter, which is a perfect size, especially that this is a dress watch. And a lot of times, a Lange and Sohne can actually go quite large and look quite large compared to other dress watches like Patek Philippe's and things like that. But I think that this watch is the perfect size, and I think everything on the dial especially is laid out beautifully. I love the hands on this watch. They just come to a perfect point. They look just fantastic. And it really is their own distinct style that they put into this. They're not really copying Patek Philippe or anything like that. I mean, honestly, Vacheron Constantin watches look fairly similar to Patek Philippe, but this is definitely, and things like that. I mean, dress watch makers tend to kind of copy each other just because, I mean, honestly, most of the designs are fairly simple, but Lange and Sohne is quite different. They have quite kind of sharp lines on the case, if that makes any sense, and their finishing is slightly different, where they'll put a brushed finish on a dress watch, whereas from Patek Philippe, most of their dress watches tend to have only polished finish on the outside, and I really love that on this watch. And when I say Patek Philippe dress watches, I'm referring to just the Calatrava line, and other things of that sort. So obviously not the Nautilus or something like that, which of course does have a lot of brushing. But this watch, I love the finishing on this piece. And now we're going to move on to the movement. So as I said, this watch is a perpetual calendar, which means that it's capable of knowing how many days are in each month, and it also takes into account leap years. So you will not have to change the date on this watch for over 100 years, assuming it's kept running, which will not be that difficult because this watch is automatic and it's got a power reserve of greater than 46 hours. And that's fine. I tend to like watches that are 48 hours and above, but given that this watch is a automatic, it's not that big of a deal. And honestly, if you have a watch that is, I mean, as high-end as this, you probably have a watch winder. I'm almost certain that you do, because it's not like you're going to, number one, wear this every day, and then also you're not really going to travel to remote destinations with this watch, so you'll probably have a watch winder within reach. So I think that that power reserve isn't that big of a consideration. But as you can see, the movement on this watch is finished absolutely beautifully. Under the rotor, you can see you have perlage, and you have a lot of Côte de Genève use as well. That rotor is solid gold. It just is gorgeous. And the whole movement actually has kind of a yellow tinge to it, and that's because of their use of German silver. And I have not seen a brand new Lange, but I think it's probably due to the oxidation of that silver that it turns a slightly yellow color. And if I recall, I did actually see a new Lange. I was wrong about that at Wempe in New York, and I noted that the movements are not as kind of yellowed as this. This is a pre-owned piece, so they will actually kind of age over time, and that looks very, very nice. And also, this watch has a hand-engraved balance cock, so you can see the detail that they put into that. I'll bring the movement a little bit closer so you can get a better look at that. And on the balance wheel, you can see it has those engravings as I kind of move it in the light there, and that's beautiful. It has a gooseneck regulator as well. So this movement is very high-tech, and it looks fantastic. And I'll give you a nice shot of the dial and the detail that they put into all those subdials there. And as you can see, at 3 o'clock, you have the month subdial along with the leap year indicator. On the 9 o'clock subdial, you have the day-night indicator as well as the day indicator. And at 6 o'clock, you can see you have a running seconds as well as a moon phase. And then at 12 o'clock, you have the digital date. And I think that's very cool. Lange is kind of known for their digital date displays. They tend to use them a lot, especially on some of their I think it's the Zeitwerk piece. It has that digital date, and I think that that's kind of a unique feature that they have. And Lange as a brand, I think it's probably my favorite ultra high-end watch brand, just because they have their own unique style. Their finishing is fantastic. In my opinion, their movement finishing is better than Patek Philippe, just because, as you saw, I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. And now I'm going to try this watch on for a wrist shot. And as you can see, the 38.5 millimeter case size of this piece would look good on most people's wrist. I have about a 6.5 inch wrist in circumference, just for reference. And I really love how the platinum kind of it's a little bit understated when compared with the rose gold version of this piece, which was actually one of the first high-end watches that we reviewed on this channel. And that was also here at JB Hudson Jewelers, and that was an awesome watch just to kind of get started in the game with. And I would say I actually do prefer the platinum version, or any real white metal version of this piece. So if you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.